Tears and Smiles, The Emotional Journey of Céline Dion. Introduction. Few artists in modern history embody both vulnerability and strength as profoundly as Céline Dion. Her life and career are not simply tales of musical triumph, but an intricate weave of laughter and tears, of joy and grief, of resilience in the face of unimaginable loss. To millions across the world, Dion is more than a singer. She is a symbol of perseverance, a beacon of hope, and a living reminder that beauty often arises from the interplay of sorrow and happiness. This essay explores the defining moments of tears and smiles in Céline Dion's life, stretching from her modest beginnings in Quebec to the dazzling heights of global stardom through personal tragedies and renewed hope. Her story is one of contrasts, the sound of a young girl singing barefoot in a crowded home versus the glamour of Las Vegas residencies, the euphoria of winning awards versus the heartbreak of losing loved ones, the confidence of performing before millions versus the fear of confronting illness. Part 1. Childhood Smiles in a Humble Home. Céline Marie Claudette Dion was born on March 30, 1968, in Charlemagne, a small town in Quebec, as the youngest of 14 children in a working-class Catholic family. Life in the Dion household was financially strained, yet emotionally rich. Her parents, Adhémar and Thérèse, were musically inclined and instilled in their children a love for song. Although money was scarce, the home was full of laughter and music. Céline would later recall the joy of sitting around the dinner table, singing harmonies with her siblings while her father played the accordion and her mother strummed the guitar. These memories, soaked in smiles, gave her the sense that music was not just entertainment, but a way of life, a refuge from poverty. Part 2. Early Tears of Poverty and Insecurity. Yet, childhood also carried its share of silent tears. Growing up in a family of 14 meant hand-me-down clothes, cramped spaces, and constant sacrifice. Céline wore shoes and dresses passed down from her older sisters. Though she smiled in family gatherings, she admitted in later interviews that she sometimes cried in private, feeling the sting of poverty and the weight of being different from other children. These struggles shaped her resilience. The tears of a little girl who longed for comfort would eventually become the fuel for her drive to succeed. Poverty planted in her both humility and ambition. Part 3. A Smile That Changed Everything. Meeting René Angélil in 1980, when Céline was just 12, her brother Michel sent a demo tape of her singing a self-written French ballad, Ce n'était qu'un rêve, It Was Only a Dream, to music manager René Angélil. The tape brought René to tears. He invited Céline to audition, and after hearing her perform live, he mortgaged his own home to finance her first album. That day marked a pivotal smile in Céline's destiny. She had found not just a manager, but a mentor and, eventually, the love of her life. René's belief in her talent lit the path toward international recognition. Part 4. Rising to Stardom, Smiles on the Global Stage. The late 1980s and 1990s were decades of extraordinary triumph. Céline represented Switzerland in the 1988 Eurovision Song Contest, winning first place with Ne partez pas sans moi. This victory launched her onto the European stage and gave her the confidence to transition into English-language music. Her smile shone brightest in 1997 when she sang My Heart Will Go On for James Cameron's Titanic. The song became a cultural phenomenon, earning her an Academy Award and multiple Grammys. Performing it at the Oscars in 1998, wearing a sparkling gown, Céline seemed to radiate joy. The performance solidified her place as a global superstar and etched her smile into the collective memory of millions. Part 5. Hidden Tears. The weight of fame. Behind the glamorous smiles, however, were private tears. International fame came with relentless touring, sleepless nights, and invasive media attention. Céline confessed in interviews that she often cried backstage, overwhelmed by loneliness and exhaustion. Moreover, her relationship with René, who was 26 years her senior, faced public scrutiny. Critics whispered about motives and power imbalances, forcing Céline to defend her love repeatedly. These moments of judgment brought silent tears, but also strengthened her resolve to live authentically. Part 6. A New Kind of Smile. Motherhood, for Mom. Céline, the deepest smiles came not from awards, but from family. After years of struggling with fertility, she and René welcomed their first son, René Charles, in 2001. She described the moment she first held him as the most beautiful smile my soul has ever known. In 2010, after a long and difficult IVF journey, she gave birth to twins, Eddie and Nelson. Motherhood, though exhausting, filled her life with radiant joy. Photos of her cradling her children or cheering for them at hockey games reveal a softer, more intimate smile than the dazzling grins on stage. Part 7. The Greatest Tears. Losing René. The most devastating chapter of Céline's life came with René's battle against throat cancer. She stood by his side for years as he underwent treatments, balancing her career with the role of caretaker. In January 2016, René passed away. Just 2 days later, Céline also lost her brother Daniel to cancer. The world witnessed Céline's profound grief at René's funeral in Montreal. Dressed in black, she greeted mourners for hours, tears streaming down her face. She later said, "I lost the love of my life, my greatest fan, my guiding light. A part of me went with him." Those tears were not just hers. They resonated with millions of fans who had followed their love story for decades. Part E8. Smiling Through the Pain. Return to the Stage. Remarkably, Céline chose to honor René's memory by returning to the stage. Her Las Vegas residency resumed only weeks after his passing. She told her audience, "René wanted me to sing, so tonight, the show must go on." Performing with tears in her eyes but a smile on her lips, she embodied resilience. This duality, smiling while crying, became her hallmark. Her 2019 Courage World Tour was aptly named. On stage, she shared laughter with her fans, danced, and delivered powerhouse vocals, while privately still carrying grief. Part 9. New Tears. Battling Illness. In December 2022, Céline revealed that she had been diagnosed with stiff person syndrome, SPS, a rare and incurable neurological disorder causing muscle stiffness and spasms. The illness forced her to cancel tours and step away from performing. The announcement was made through a tearful video. Fans around the world wept with her. For someone whose life had revolved around singing, the idea of losing her voice was devastating. Yet even here, Céline emphasized hope. "I'm working hard every day with my doctors and therapists to get back on stage. I love you all so much." Part X. Smiles of Hope and Legacy. Despite her health struggles, Céline remains a figure of inspiration. She appears occasionally in public, smiling bravely, reassuring her fans that her spirit is unbroken. In documentaries and interviews, she stresses gratitude, family, and the power of love. Her legacy is not only her voice, but also her humanity. The way she smiled at the heights of success and shed tears openly at the depths of sorrow. Both her joy and her grief have become part of her artistry. Psychological reflection. Why her? Tears and smiles resonate. What makes Céline Dion's journey uniquely powerful is the transparency with which she shares her emotions. She does not hide her tears nor exaggerate her smiles. Instead, she presents both as authentic expressions of life's complexity. From a psychological perspective, this balance between vulnerability and strength is what makes her relatable. Fans see in her not just a star, but a mirror of their own struggles: love, loss, hope, and resilience. Conclusion. Céline Dion's life story is a testament to the intertwined nature of tears and smiles. From a barefoot child singing in Quebec to a global icon battling illness, she has lived at the extremes of human experience. Her smiles remind us that joy can spring even from modest beginnings, while her tears show us that even the brightest stars are not spared from suffering. Together, her tears and smiles create a portrait of a woman who, above all, remains profoundly human. And perhaps that is her greatest gift, teaching us that both laughter and sorrow can be melodies in the same song of life.